Good morning, students. My name is Joshua and I am your computer teacher. I warm welcome all my students of Standard 3rd to begin with me a computer lecture. So kindly be ready with your computer workbook. While you're getting ready with your books, students, I'd like to ask you all, or I'd like to explain why study computers, why it is important. Now you see, computer plays a very vital role or a very important role in our lives today. Computers are used in almost all the fields like home, school, colleges, educational institution, offices like all the big offices that you see to perform various tasks like banks, hotels, hospitals, various other places, railways. So it has become a daily necessity of our life. Hence, it's important to study about computers. Also, the future generation is about technology and artificial intelligence. So, with the help of this book, I will help you all to learn about computers in a very simple way. We'll try to make learning easy and enjoyable. So, let us begin with our computer lecture. I would like to share one example. I'm sure we all are aware what this product is. At least at once we have eaten this product. Absolutely right. Noodles, 2 minutes, be it Maggi, Yippee, any brand. We all aware of this. We generally don't eat this product as raw. We do something in the kitchen, then we eat the product, right? Let's look at one more example. Yum, pizza, right? We may have it in this pizza at home or in the pizza outlet or any place nearby. You see, students, there is a word written output. Keep in mind, remember this. Now, to make this pizza, we definitely need something. So these are something, you see there is a word written input. After this, we do something, right? We put it in the oven to bake. There's something happening behind, something happening in the machine, right? Some process. You see the word written process. So try to remember this example the simple way, Maggi noodles, and then followed by this example of a pizza. If you remember this example, it will be very easy to help you understand the first chapter, which is chapter number 1, working of a computer. So let's begin. A computer is an electronic device that performs different tasks. It takes the input from a user, stores it, and processes that input to provide an output. The working of a computer is the combination of input, storage, processing, and output operations. So what is a computer? A computer is an electronic device that performs different tasks. As we all know, we use computers in various fields, like I told you in the start. Schools, hospitals, colleges, banks, hotels, restaurants, many places. And all these places have different set of their work. So how it works? It takes input from a user, stores it, and processes that input to provide an output. Right? Like in Maggi. We get the Maggi, that's a raw product. We then put it in the bowl on the stove, and then we cook it for some time, and then we get the product. That is the output. Similarly, working of a computer is also a combination of input, storage, processing, and output operations. You see the example below? In the above example, the pizza base and the ingredients are the input. The oven is where all the processing or the baking takes place. The pizza is the output. Similarly, there are 3 steps in computer processing: input, process, output cycle. See the diagram here? Input, process, output. So let us see what is input. Now, to prepare a pizza, we saw the input. To prepare Maggi or the noodles, we saw the input. In computer terminology or in computer, what are the input? Input devices such as keyboard or mouse are used to enter data into the computer. The data entered into the computer is often in the form of letters, numbers, and symbols. The commands you give to a computer are known as instructions. This process of entering data in the form of instructions or in the form of information or instructions into a computer is known as input. Definitely, to input something, we need some or the other device to enter data or the information that we need from the computer. So we use keyboard, mouse, and various other devices as the input. And the data is entered into the computer in the form of letters, numbers, symbols. So these becomes the raw data or the raw input. The command you give to a computer are known as instructions. Like basic thing that we can talk about is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So this process of entering data in the form of information or instruction into a computer is known as input. So whatever as a user, I input into the computer is the raw data or the input into the computer. Let's turn our page. Process. Now let's see what is happening here. When we were ready with our base of the pizza, we had to put it in the oven for something to happen. Now in oven we know it will bake, it will produce some heat, it will bake the raw product for some time. It will take some time, like 15-20 minutes, and then you remove the pizza. So let's understand what is happening in the computer. Once the data is entered into the computer, the central processing unit, which is CPU, accepts the input. The CPU stores the data and converts it into the language that the computer can understand. It processes the data based on the instructions provided by the user. This conversion of data or information into a language that the computer understands is known as processing. Processing devices are often located inside the CPU of a computer. So here, what the process is trying to explain is, once we enter the information into the computer using the input devices, the central processing unit, the name itself says central processing unit, accepts the input. Now central processing unit are already designed to perform the tasks. Like whenever some input happens, your task is to convert that information into a machine level language so that machine can understand. And that language, students, what computer understands, we call that language as binary language. B-I-N-A-R-Y. Binary language. Bi means 2, hence it is known as binary. 0 and 1. This is just for you all to understand. You have this in your syllabus once we go further. So whatever input that we are putting, this processing unit is converting that information or the data into the language that the computer can understand. Now let's see what output is. Once the data is processed by the CPU, the desired result appears in the form of information. The output devices display the result of the processed data. The process of producing a result that the user can understand based on the user input is known as output. Down below is one example. When you type on the keyboard, the CPU processes the data that you are typing and converts it into the text that displays on the monitor. Example of output devices include the monitor, printer, speakers, etc. So the function or the functionality of the output device is to display the result that we were looking for. Whatever information or the data that we entered using the input device, central processing unit processes it and then again converts it into the language that we as human can understand and then sends it to the output devices. Now output devices are monitor, printer, speakers. Monitor is for our eyes that we visually see. Printer is for the text format, it is the document like the hard copy. Speakers is again the sound that we can hear. Again it's the output. So in short, what we understand here is the computer works in the format of input, process, output. So input devices like keyboard, mouse, processing happens which is known as the brain, the central processing unit, and then the output. Now, as we understand, I gave you the example of oven. If you see as we saw the example of pizza, there was something happening in the oven, right? So in a further class, we will understand what is happening inside a computer, the central processing unit, what are its components and what are their functionalities. We will try to understand that in a classes ahead.